are taking a live look over the Capitol as lawmakers race to pass the debt limit deal through both chambers with less than a week until the final deadline. While some North and South Carolina lawmakers are speaking out against Speaker Kevin McCarthy and the debt limit deal, one North Carolina congressman is playing an instrumental role in negotiating and getting the votes to make it happen.
Our chief political correspondent right now, Emma Withrow, joining us here in the studio. You took a closer look at Congressman Patrick McHenry's instrumental role. So, Emma, what can you tell us?
Yeah, absolutely, guys. So after keeping a pretty low profile in Congress for almost 2 decades, North Carolina Congressman Patrick McHenry is now at the forefront of one of the biggest political negotiations in years. So I dug deeper into how he got here. Congressman Patrick McHenry has been called upon by Speaker of the House Kevin McCarthy to negotiate with the White House on a debt ceiling deal that would keep the country in business and fears of a major recession at bay.
Negotiations were intense. They were quite challenging. The outcome of that is a fundamental shift in the spending trajectory in Washington. This is the biggest set of spending cuts and a substantial change from the spending of the last 2 years for this administration.
McHenry, a Republican from Lincoln County, North Carolina, is the chairman of the House's Financial Services Committee. McHenry stayed out of controversy throughout most of his time in office, dating all the way back to 2005. And now at 47 years old, he's leading the charge in one of the biggest financial deals in decades.
But it wouldn't have been possible without the firm commitment of House Republicans and us passing a plan.
Dr. Susan Roberts, a political science professor at Davidson College, thinks McHenry's played his cards right and could be set up for an even bigger leadership role in the Republican Party in the future.
I think in his own words, he said, comparing when he first came to where he is now, that he learned to respect the process. And I think that's something that many members don't understand.
Not only does McHenry tend to stay in line in Congress, but Roberts says he also stays in line and does what he's supposed to do when he's in his district.
It's drawn in a very Republican district, but he does have a reputation as someone that takes care of his constituents and someone that can be looked at as a negotiator in Congress.
And his negotiation skills were key when cutting out this debt deal with the White House. U.S. spending reached the debt limit at $31.4 trillion in January. The Treasury Secretary, Janet Yellen, says if Congress doesn't raise the debt limit or stop spending by June 5th, America will default on its debt. McCarthy's trying to meet in the middle and please everyone, including his House Republican colleagues and the White House.
Without the commitment of House Republicans passing a plan to raise the debt ceiling and take on our nation's finances and turn the trajectory of this debate with the White House, and without the Speaker's firm commitment, we would not have been in these negotiations.
So I reached out to Congressman Patrick McHenry's office a few times for an interview, but he was not available. We're also working on getting an interview with another North Carolina Congressman, Dan Bishop. Today, Bishop publicly supported ousting Kevin McCarthy from the speakership. So lots of drama. We'll hopefully get a hold of some of these Republicans soon.
Yep, we'll see what happens with that. Emma, thank you.